It was a winter evening in one small country, and in her biggest city, thick snow was falling. All the streets were already covered with snowdrifts, but no one was bothered at first. And first of all, the janitors. They considered themselves offended and were not going to work for the whole city. "We get paid too little for our hard work," they said. All children who do not study well are threatened by the fact that they will go to work as janitors. No one dares to demand anything from us, because we don't order the weather. Whether it snows or not, we get the same salary. So, the city was covered with snow, and there was only one street sweeper working. He diligently cleared sidewalks, made paths through snowdrifts, and even, having mastered his sight, moved on to the next one. In short, he was an eccentric janitor who managed to love his job. And, of course, he evoked the most contradictory feelings. Some praised him because it was possible to walk in the city only on his street. Others, and among them were all the other janitors, scolded. There were many explanations for his behavior. Why shouldn't he work if he's richer than you and me? Some of them said, we should have seen how he gets paid. He doesn't even count the money, puts it in his pocket and moves on. Yes, he just finds money on the street. He sweeps the sidewalk for himself. And there's one coin, then two, then three. There are just scattered people living on his street who are constantly losing money, others argued. It's not for nothing that he lures residents to walk along his street. They walk around, and their money keeps falling, said others. Yes, he has nothing else to do but work, said the fourth. Hello, everyone satisfied. The happiest. That's all it is. But the saddest thing is that no one tried to refute all these rumors. Even those who praised the janitor deep down considered him not quite normal. Or maybe he really was an oddball. After all, when he was asked, he never complained about fate and considered I feel lucky. He agreed that he was the richest, healthiest, and happiest man in the city. Meanwhile, it was in this snowy winter, on this snowy evening, that he should have kept quiet. And he was still humming a song, clearing his street. He probably made me angry. It was a blizzard, and it didn't end to test his patience. So they fought until morning. And as a result, the whole city fell asleep to the rooftops. People woke up late and decided that they would not go to work, because there was no reason to risk their health and lives by wading through snowdrifts. And most importantly, it's not their job to clear the city of snow, but the janitors. More than one day passed, and the residents began to freeze and starve. They were dying, cursing the janitors, but no one thought to take a shovel and go outside. It's none of their business. Meanwhile, the janitors dug holes in the snowdrifts and gathered together to plotting. Our time has come, they decided solemnly. The whole city and its fate are in our hands. All our lives we have been the most humiliated of all classes. Now we will be above everyone. And so, armed with shovels, they reached the town hall and demanded that the government give them all the power in the state. What could the city councillors do but disobey? One by one, the janitors dug up the houses and immediately swore in the residents of the city, demanding that they recognize their authority. The first decree of the new government stated that all residents of the country are charged with the first duty is to keep clean in order to make the janitors' work easier. True, after the decree, the janitors had nothing to do, but justice was restored, which, according to the government, had been trampled on for a long time. The second decree was directed against that weirdo who was an eyesore in the whole city. He was stripped of the title of janitor and at the same time of the high salary that was now imposed for this work. The weirdo didn't resist. He only asked if he could become a builder and, having received the consent, left the city. A little time has passed. Once, a beautiful woman passed through this country. Princess. Just one look at her caused the most ardent raptures. Truly, she was an amazing beauty. The whole town came to see her. Oh, if she had stayed with us, people said, we could have been proud of our country. She would have made her famous all over the world. Yes, in the presence of the princess, everyone felt their poverty. There was only cleanliness in the country, and besides that, there was nothing else. Since everyone started putting things in order and cleaning up, the state has been empty. Everything old was demolished and burned. The branches of the trees were cut off so that they could be there were fewer leaves and litter. And the animals were herded into special gardens so that they would not interfere with order. And when the princess was offered to stay in their country, she asked in surprise, "And what do you have to live for?" No one could answer that question. That would be the princess for everyone. For her sake, they would like to live in their own country. Suddenly, someone accidentally remembered about the recluse. Truly, he was the only one they could show the beautiful princess. "The happiest man lives with us." "Stop it," they shouted. "He's the only one in the world, just like you." Remembering which way the weirdo had gone, they immediately got ready to follow him. And then not only the princess had to be surprised, but also the inhabitants of the country. It turns out that the eccentric settled in the most abandoned corner of the state. But after becoming a builder, he managed to build a whole palace there, surrounded by a forest and a park. There was no need to ask questions to see that the weirdo was feeling happy again. When they saw that the princess was pleased, people rushed to him and offered to become a prince immediately. "What am I supposed to do?" he asked. "Nothing. You'll just be a prince and the husband of a beautiful princess," they answered him. "But I don't know how to do nothing," said the crank. "Well, command us." "And I can't do that." "Well, do whatever you want and be our prince, and we will follow your example." The weirdo was still considering whether to accept the new position, but then the princess smiled at him and took matters into her own hands. And so beauty and happiness began to rule the country. The prince found a job for himself and took care of all his subjects. He got up before everyone else, picked up a broom and went to clean up. He started building streets, and then he did a lot more, and his subjects, seeing his concern, also began to take care of each other, and the whole country prospered.